The name Namasangiti is quite well known in Buddhist studies. It is somewhat known in art circles. It relates actually to, refers specifically to a text, a Tantra text called the Namasangiti Tantra, and it is really about Manjushri, but Manjushri also in not just his peaceful forms, but also some wrathful forms, such as Yamari and Yamantaka and Bhairava. So we have this name that is quite well known. We have this text, and then we have many different forms of Manjushri that are said to belong to the Namasangiti. We have a lot in painting, and we have really a lot of sculpture as well. And how you recognize these forms and how you distinguish them is not easy, because there are so many forms, and they also overlap with other forms of Manjushri from other tantric literature. So it can be really quite difficult. So to start with, we really have a one-faced, two-armed form, the basic form of Manjushri from the Namasangiti. And sometimes we have different names that are used, like this might be called the Jnana Sattva form, or the Yeshe Sempa. At other times we have Jampal Dorje or Manju Vajra, Dharmadhatu Vagishvara, Samkshipta Guyaka. We have different terms that are used for the different forms of Manjushri, even though some of them look almost identical to each other. It's really not easy. This is one of the most difficult areas of iconography because of a lack of current literature, a lack of current meaning commentaries that have been written in the last few hundred years, and a lack of inscriptions on the sculpture, and sometimes just a lack of inscriptions on the paintings. So a lot of it is guesswork. Manjushri Namasangiti is actually one of those deities that has really fallen out of favor or out of popularity in the last few hundred years. But the basic forms are one-faced two-armed, one-faced four-armed, three-faced four-armed, three faces and six arms, three faces and eight arms, four faces and four arms, four faces and eight arms, and then six faces and two arms. So you can see right away it's extremely complicated, very difficult to determine. But we also have a problem with traditions. Different traditions will follow different early commentaries from India, and therefore they will promote or accept only certain forms of Namasangiti as being the most important or the most true to the original Tantra. So really, I guess my point here is, don't get upset if you can't figure out what are all the different forms of Namasangiti. It's just not easy, and there would need to be really a major study on the subject that also lays it out chronologically. Otherwise, it's just too complicated with the number of forms and the number of different old traditions, early Tibetan, Indian, and then early Tibetan traditions. It's just complicated. So it's just a kind of warning. Don't get upset with yourself. It's okay. Namasangiti is complicated. So you can always press the like button. You can share. You can join HAR on Patreon and help support the work that we do.